What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back into Nuggets Today, presented by Fan Arch. So I have told you guys I'm going to do my player predictions, and these episodes are pre-recorded because I do leave the country for about 2.5 weeks, and I'm going to try my best to get some episodes while I'm out there. But before I leave, I wanted to pre-record some episodes on the entire roster and what my predictions are for each player. And I want to start off with the, I guess, point guard three, but real true ball handler off the bench since they haven't signed one yet, and that is Jalen Pickett and what I think he's going to do. And I do think he's going to take a bigger role, and I think that's what it seems like for Denver right now. I'm not the biggest fan of Jalen Pickett, and I think you guys all know that, but I am willing to give him a chance now. I'm ready to just see what he's going to do. I do have my predictions for him. I think he's going to play a lot more because, again, lack of, I guess, point guard depth at this point. You have Bruce Brown, who's the backup one at the moment. You have a guy like Strother who's going to take a role, I think, in ball handling. That's just, again, my assumption. But I do think that we see maybe not every game this season, but I do think in the games that Jalen Pickett comes in, you'll probably see him, in my opinion, for around 10 to 13 minutes, maybe even a little bit more. It depends on Bruce's health. It depends on, Jamal's health, obviously. But my predictions for him are coming off the bench, putting up around, I want to say 4 points, 2 assists, and a rebound. I would love to see 4 and 4, 4 points and 4 assists, and a rebound if that is a possibility for Jalen Pickett. I know he is a sort of do-it-all point guard rather than scoring. I could see him shooting a little bit better. I think that I could see him being a little bit, maybe a league average three-point shooter, maybe a little bit higher. League average last year was 36%. So I could see him doing that, maybe going a little bit higher than that. And I mean, again, I think that he could work around a guy like Jokic shooting a little bit of a higher percentage. I would love to just see him put the ball on the floor more. That's my biggest thing. I think that when it came to the playoffs, he looked a little bit nervous, or, right before the playoffs as well. He looked a little bit nervous when it came to him putting the ball on the floor and shooting it. It didn't look like he wanted to take any shots. And I think that's something that I covered with Cam Johnson last episode. I think that he is going to help players build confidence in just taking the shot and realizing that any opportunity that you get to come into the game is going to be an opportunity to prove yourself. And that's going to be big for Jalen Pickett this year, especially with the lack of point guard depth. Now, the next guy I want to get into, actually, the next two guys I'm going to get into are the only two guys who I don't see cracking the rotation for Denver this year. And that's me being super realistic. I think that Hunter Tyson doesn't really play. I don't think that he was fantastic in Summer League, and I know that in the last few years, he's been a good Summer League player, especially for Denver. He was the vet of the Summer League team for Denver, a guy who, got minutes last year because of the lack of depth for Denver, but I don't see him playing much. I see him maybe getting in for 2 or 3 games, not 2 or 3 games, but maybe like 15 games this season, with the additions of Cam and Tim Hardaway, that sort of drops his minutes big time. I think that we see a huge decrease in Tyson actually touching the court, and there wasn't much opportunity last year, and I think there was even less opportunity now for Hunter Tyson. But in the minutes he gets in, I want to say I only see him playing the end of games, maybe if that. So maybe we see him for 7 to 8 minutes, 7 to 9, maybe around the 10-minute range, if he's able to get those kinds of minutes. And in that time, I think I see him taking a couple shots, maybe averaging around 2 points, 1 rebound, no assist, or maybe 0.5 assist. There's not much opportunity for Hunter Tyson to come in and prove himself, and actually put up any real stats, in my opinion. Like I said, I think that he'll average 2 to 3 points, and those are going to be off him coming in and maybe hitting a three-pointer. Maybe I'm wrong, and Denver wants to face him into the rotation, and attempt to get him some minutes, maybe for trade value purposes, and that's also how I feel about this next guy, who is Zeke Naji, a guy who's been on the roster on a very big contract for what he's actually worth. And I mean, listen, he's not great, and we know that he's not great. And with the addition of Val and Deron Holmes being healthy, again, same thing with Hunter Tyson. I don't think that Zeke Naji cracks the rotation. I could see Naji maybe getting some minutes in the beginning of the season to see what he's worth, if they are able to boost his trade value, show teams that he does have potential to be a good player and actually try to get a vet for him, a seasoned vet. But maybe there's a game or two or 5 or 7 that Jokic doesn't play and Val needs a backup and Duran is going to run the backup 4 and you have Zeke Naji coming at the backup 5 or vice versa. But I think that maybe we see in the opportunities, if there are any opportunities for Zeke Naji to come in and play, maybe we see him for around 10 minutes a game. In those 10 minutes, same thing. I want to say 3 or 4 points. I don't want to say anything more than that. When it comes to rebounds, maybe 2 rebounds, maybe 3 rebounds. I think that if he is going to get minutes, it's going to be a DeAndre Jordan role from last year where he just comes in and, maybe if we need a break, if Val's not playing and Jokic needs a backup and maybe Duran's not ready yet, or if, Duran is playing the 4, we just need a backup 5 and Val's not playing, or if Jokic is out and if Val needs a backup 5 and, Duran's already in. But I don't see Zeke Naji getting much playing time, and I think that he's going to be in the same role he's been in for the last couple of years. And maybe you come in for 7 games and you put up 4 points and you average a nice 4-2 for the season, and maybe they trade you and you got an opportunity and you go average 12-7 somewhere else. But I don't think that is a realistic shot for Duran Holmes or Zeke Naji to do that in Denver. But talking about a guy who's probably going to get a lot of playing time at the 4 and 5 later on the season, that is Duran Holmes. Now, I think that the beginning of the season, Duran Holmes isn't going to get much playing time, and that will affect his stat line, in my opinion. He will probably not play much in the first couple, maybe months of the season, first couple weeks at least, just because I think they want to work him in and phase him into the rotation. I think that he's going to be working with guys like Jokic, Val, Cam, AG a lot to be more comfortable and, have more confidence, because that's the one thing that he did say in his check-in interview is that he didn't feel as confident. He was nervous because he's coming off a big injury, and that's, it's big. You haven't played a real NBA game yet. You're playing only summer league games. You're coming off an injury that sidelined you for the entire season, but I do think that he works his way into the rotation. The one thing I will say is I think that he may shoot under league average from 3 strictly because it is his first year. I do think there are people that are going to be there to set him up like Jokic, like Val, like AG, Cam, but I do think he shoots under league average strictly because I think that he is still going to be working his way into a rotational role where he is comfortable and he is confident enough to hit those shots at a high rate. But I do think by the end of the season, we'll see Duran probably play anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes a game in that range. I would love to see the 7 to 10 point range. I would love to see more than that, but I think that he'd be able to give 7 to 10 points. Anywhere when it comes to rebounds, I want to see 5 or 6 rebounds if we can from him. Maybe I don't really mind the assist, but I do think that we may see a block a game for Duran Holmes, and I think that's massive for Denver's bench. But like I said, I do think that he shoots maybe just under league average from the 3-point line because he is still getting comfortable and working his way into the rotation. But I think that there are good things ahead for Duran Holmes. I think that maybe Jalen Pickett takes a step up, and I hope my hopes for this lineup, the backup and the young guys, I'm covering the bottom 4 of the rotation right now. I hope that Jalen Pickett goes ahead and does better than what I think he is going to do, because that'll be a massive upgrade for Denver in the backup role that is currently not really there. Anyway, that is all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and let me know if you guys want me to cover anything down below. Thank you guys for checking it out, and I'll see you guys next episode.